And what's up, everybody? I'm back with another video game review. Today, I finally gotten around to playing Astrobot. Finally, 2024 Game of the Year. Finally got her. I really have wanted to play this game for a while. Finally got my hands on it for a relatively good price on Amazon, thanks to a gift card. And I gotta say, all the hype and more. I mean, when it comes to a game that is crowned Game of the Year in any year, that's a big weight put on its shoulders, right? So I was very intrigued to see how this game was really going to be, and I gotta say again, I was pleasantly surprised, and I got a lot of thoughts on this game. Let's jump right into it, shall we? First off, this game looks incredible. Such a cute looking game. The bots are really cute looking. The world looks amazing. Super vibrant colors, designs. The animals look good. The plants look good. All of the enemies, even to an extent, look good too. Just the scenery is amazing. And it's backed up by an amazing soundtrack that really helps fit the vibe. And it really gives off like Nintendo vibes. If you look past all of the PlayStation references that we'll get to in a little bit, you might think it's a Nintendo game because it feels like a Nintendo game, but it's not, and it's really good. It's really good though, I gotta say. And again, the PlayStation references, they're everywhere, and they're excellent. I have grown up playing PlayStation games alongside Nintendo, but actually my first console that I ever played was not a Nintendo console, it was the PS2. Still what I think is the best console of all time. And there's tons of references to that, as well as all the other generations of PlayStation consoles in this game, and not just even like the consoles themselves. I mean, the whole mothership for this Astrobot crew is a PS5, and you spend the game rebuilding a PS5. It's just fucking amazing. And there's so many little secrets, Easter eggs planted throughout this game. I mean, the controllers to fly the ship are PS3 move controllers. The controller that you fly around on for most of the game is a PS5 controller. There's PS2 controllers, PS1, all over the place. There's a whole level dedicated to God of War, and there's a little secret in that level of a little Astrobot guy decked out in um, God of War costume playing a PS2, and it's just so awesome to see. It's so cool. Just lovely. I mean, so beautifully done amazingly. You fly at the end, and a lot of these come at the end of the game during the final boss. When it's just a massive overload, you see like a giant PS3 and a giant PS2, PS1 startup noise. You hear that when like the whole thing starts too, and then you got some like the PSP that's flying around. It's so awesome. But then also like other IPs and characters. I mentioned there's a whole level dedicated to God of War. There's another whole level dedicated to Horizon Zero Dawn. Some of the bots have cool costumes dedicated to PlayStation IPs like Crash Bandicoot, Little Big Planet, um, and others that I couldn't necessarily recognize. But there's a lot of cool stuff planted in this game. It really is. A lot of people say it's a love letter for PlayStation, and yeah, it's a big PlayStation advertisement, but it's also a love letter. It's done so well. It's just this culmination of all their different IPs. I mean, PlayStation's been around for a long time now, 30 years, and that's a long time. It's a lot of different games and IPs and franchises that have come and gone. Like Spyro the Dragon. There's a Spyro the Dragon thing here. Jack and Daxter. There's nothing in there. I'm pretty sure there was a Ratchet and Clank thing in there. I can't necessarily pinpoint where it was, but I'm sure there was one in there, and so many others that I didn't even notice or recognize because they're older IPs that I've never played before, but they're still so cool that they're in there, and other dedicated fans will get those references. But even so, just how they dedicate them to special costumes and not just all generic bots goes above and beyond, and it's just amazing. And beyond the bots, there's lots of other cool things to collect. The puzzle pieces that help expand your hub world, and then it's just stuff in the hub world to collect as well. Like the Spire of the Dragon is not a costume for a bot; it's just a Easter egg that you unlock. There's a bunch of other those in the world, and then they can just like scatter around your world and there's stuff to collect. And explore too. There's tons to explore on just the hub world, and also like little side divots in the levels themselves. I mean, and then some of the levels have passageways for secret levels, and then you can go and get a whole nother level. Like you leave the main level and then go straight to this level, and you get to play that level, and it's super cool. There's tons of like places to nooks and crannies to look in, because there's 300 something bots that you're trying to rescue, and they're littered everywhere throughout the level. You got to really look. There's some really creative locations that they put these bots in. It's really, really, really good, and it just really exemplifies how much creativity is put in these levels with the colors and the designs, but also the way that, you know, with the power-ups that you get, and how they may feel OP, but you don't always have them, so maybe they're not. The enemy designs are pretty cool. But like some of the level designs are just, the themes are really cool. I mean, there's one that's just dedicated to being a casino, which is just fucking amazing. There's a whole level dedicated to like jungles and snow, or you know, all this sort of stuff, construction levels, all this great stuff that they just throw a ton of creativity in. And the boss fights are the same way too. There's a lot of cool creativity put into the boss fights, and it's done just amazingly. And I really cannot stress enough how much care and creativity that they put into this game. And when I remember playing Astro's Playroom, when that was a pack-in title for the PS5, now almost 4 years ago, I guess the time of this video going up, it might be 5 years ago at this point. You know, I really like that, but like taking that to this is just the jump that you would never, I don't think anybody could ever expect that. And it's just amazing. The work and the effort and the level of just care that they put into this is just awesome. Yeah, there's just so much stuff to find. And just, it's just beautiful. It really is just beautiful. Really beautiful. The boss fights, you know, they can get a little tedious, a little annoying, especially as the game progresses. But I think they sum it up with a really good final boss sequence. I talked about it a little bit. Kind of this culmination of all of these PlayStation consoles, hardware IPs coming together and like working together at the end. It feels really good to have all your hard work and just like, you know, this very long 30-year journey coming to this. Well, it'd been 29 years, I guess, at the time of this game coming out, but still, all that coming together is just beautiful. And it's really satisfying final boss. It's not necessarily the hardest. It's by far not the hardest boss in the game. But it, you know, a lot of the other bosses I think were harder than this one. I don't think this boss was meant to be a very hard final boss. I think it was supposed to be a very satisfying conclusion. With, you know, it's not the easiest fight in the world, though. You still got to work at it, but and also like the variability is cool. You've got all the power ups put in there too. So it could be you could get three these on one playthrough, one fight, and then you get to three completely different ones on a different fight, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you know, now you play the whole fight again, and there's two different sequences, and you're like, this is a whole new way to play the fight, which is really cool. That after you beat the final boss, you can go back and play it again. I think that's a really cool thing that they did, and it gives a replay value. So, and then the ending is crazy. I was super convinced that this game would take in a very dark turn, and that they were going to kill off the main character when the end credits started rolling, and then they didn't, which I thought was good. It would have been really weird and a complete shift in tone that didn't really feel necessary if they had gone off with just killing this guy. But they didn't, which was nice. All right, it's a crazy ending, but then also the end credits level is just beautiful. It's the best level in the game, I would say. Not just because you can breeze through it and just appreciate it, but because it's really well done. And it's a good culmination at the ending, too. And it's just like, thanks to you! Thank you for playing! I always like that. I say this every time something like that happens. Thank you for playing. I mean, it just shows how much they care, right? At least it seems like it shows how much they care. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I don't know. This is a very hard game to find complaints about. The only one that I could really see anybody truly having about this game is it does hold your hand quite often. It is a pretty easy game. Not the easiest game in the world. It does pick up in difficulty a little bit as the game progresses. The boss fights especially do get pretty stupid, especially near the end of the game. But the levels themselves are pretty easy. The only challenge is going to be really finding the bots, because there's a bot requirement to fight all the bosses in the game. So oftentimes, especially in the last couple worlds, you are going to find yourself backtracking a lot through levels. But they give you special like aim assists basically to help find the bots and other collectibles in the levels. Like you can find the secret levels, or you can find the puzzle pieces in there, which kind of defeats the purpose in my opinion. It's an optional thing, so I guess it's fine. But I mean, the power-ups are super OP, but again, they don't last, so it's fine. But I could see that being a complaint, though. The game does hold your hand quite often. And, you know, not everybody's a fan of that. Personally, I think it's done well. I don't think it's very excessive. I do think it's still left to the player a good amount. And I don't think this game is necessarily intended to be very hard. I don't think it's intended for that. I think it's supposed to be a very feel-good moment. It's supposed to be a very feel-good thing. It's not meant to really piss you off that much, even though some of the boss fights really did piss me off, especially the longer they went. But I still think they did it just right, in my opinion. So, and that's why that's gonna do it for this review. It's been a long time since I've done this, but I think this game, even with a couple things that I think people might complain about, I don't think they're necessarily a complaint. I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. Thought maybe a 9.5, but I think it's going to be a 10. It's really hard not to give this game a 10. It's especially as a PlayStation fan, grew up playing PlayStation, still do. It's really hard not to like this game. It's really, really hard to find anything to not like about this game. It is, in almost every facet, the perfect game. And that's why it gives a 10 out of 10 score. It's been a really long time since I've given a 10 out of 10 for a video game, but I think it's definitely justified here. So, and I can definitely see why it got that Game of the Year award. It 100% deserves it, and seems like a lot of other people are agreeing in that, because it got Game of the Year. Anyway, so that's all I got for this review. If you've ever played Astrobot, if you played Astro's Playroom and just never got around to purchasing this game yet, by all means do so. It is 100% worth your time. It's not a very long game. Again, it's not a very difficult game, but it's a very feel-good game. And if you're a PlayStation fan, you will enjoy it full on throughout the game. Even if you're not a PlayStation fan, you should still enjoy this game. So, with that being said, that is going to do it for this video. If you've played Astrobot, I'd love to know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. And that's going to do it for this video as well. So stay tuned for much more amazing content, including more game reviews and other awesome stuff. And until next time, see you guys later. Goodbye.